Hi, my name is Louise Jupp for Women and Drones Africa. Welcome to this series of Zoom chats with trailblazing women in the African drone industry. In this series, I'll be chatting to women about their role in the industry, how they got into the industry and why, some challenges they may have encountered, as well as opportunities that they see, and also asking for what their advice would be for people looking to join this industry. Today I'm delighted to introduce you to Zethu Gumede from South Africa. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Not too bad. Thank you for joining me today.
I'm glad to be here.
Cool. Right, I'm going to start with the worst question, or sometimes it is when you've got a CV, an interview sort of situation. But who are you and what do you do by way of introduction?
Okay, so my name is Zethu Gumede. I'm originally from Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. I studied environmental science at UKZN, and then afterwards I furthered my studies at WITS and did my honors in geography. I then delved into the aviation industry, which is where I'm currently in, and it's under the air traffic control branch of aviation.
Cool. That's really. I like the environmental bit, I must say, because I'm also in the environmental. I was in the environmental profession. Excellent. What attracted you to the drone industry in particular?
I think I first got attracted to the drone industry when I started hearing about drone technology being mentioned, especially in relation to the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence, robots. I thought to myself, this is going to be, one of those groundbreaking industries. And then, especially this year with 2020 and COVID-19, I started actually seeing drones being used during lockdown. So I was seeing how in certain cities in India, they were using drones to sanitize large areas. So I started realizing, okay, drones are already being used, and this is definitely something I want to learn more of because they're also being used for good and positive things in communities. And then during this year, I also had an opportunity to do an online course. There was a course that was offered by Embry-Riddle that was enhancing STEM education using drones. So I now started to see it on a more individual level, the regulations involved and how they could be used for education. And that sparked my interest in getting my own remote pilot's license, which I could learn more about how South Africa is using drones and the regulations behind them.
Okay. And did you see any sort of potential from from your environmental perspective as well?
Yeah, I definitely did. I think I started to also see in terms of conservation how drones can be used for mapping and in how even how they were used in these cities and towns that it has an environmental benefit to getting 10 trucks to sanitize a city or a town or roads. You can just use one drone, which it doesn't pollute the environment. It's less time consuming. So I definitely saw an environmental aspect to the use of drones as well.
Okay. I mean, you're sort of now in the industry. I mean, what kind of keeps you there? What factor just keeps you going and say, I'm really enjoying this, or something to that effect?
I think what's really keeping me in the industry is there's just so much to learn. Every day there's new technological advancements, there's new drones being built, and during now the lockdown I was able to utilize some online resources. So in the online resources I was registering for webinars and conferences, and it was nice to gain knowledge from people all over the world. I was able to find out what the different type of operations in terms of surveillance and mapping and surveying, how different people in different parts of the world are using the technology. So that's always fascinating to me, and it always keeps me inspired to continue to learn and grow in the industry.
I mean, there's a good point. I mean, that's possibly one of the benefits from the COVID is, that being able to attend these conferences now, as a virtual attendee, sort of has really opened up opportunities, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It really has.
That's I was going to ask you something. It'll come back to me just now, but Is there anyone that has particularly inspired you? That is already in the drone industry, or yeah, that has you've sort of thought, gosh, that person, their story is really interested me, and it's just inspired you to get into the industry.
I'm actually inspired by so many women in the industry. I was surprised that there was actually so many women in the industry. I think once you do your research and get involved in the industry, you start seeing so many women that are part of the industry. But just most notably, I could say that Itumeleng Mokoena and Kim James were the two people who have really inspired me in this industry as women. Itumeleng Mokoena is she's a young Black woman in the industry, and she's worked for different companies, and she was part of some conferences and having platforms where she's also educating. She has this drone pilot network group where she had a lot of young people there, and she was just sharing information even on an individual one-on-one level. She's a person who's always willing to share and give advice. And also Kim, I encountered Kim on my online platforms. I see that she's got tremendous experience in the industry, and she's always sharing information. It's always very interactive. She's always commenting and sharing, and even in conferences she's always just very passionate about the industry. So I'm very proud to see these women willingly sharing knowledge and being inclusive in the industry and just paying it forward to other women in the industry.
Yeah, I was chatting to Tumaleng this morning, and just an amazing story. And Kim was the first one that I did a Zoom chat with, and
Okay.
I mean, huge respect for both. Yeah,
yes, yeah.
But you said something there, and that was what I was going to comment on just now. The common thread is this passion, is this people being driven in this industry, male or female. It's just intoxicating, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
They really pull you along. You just sort of, well, this is an amazing. I don't know of an industry quite like it, where you just get, so sort of, this is just so cool, and I can do something of value. I can do something good here. I think that's a very powerful message from the drone industry.
Definitely.
So in terms of what sort of roles do you already see that women are playing now? What have you seen out there at this time?
At this time, I'm actually seeing women in the industry playing a much bigger role than just being drone pilots and flying the drones. I see them being involved in the safety management of drones, being involved in the regulations, being involved in transformation in the industry, and there's also women in Africa being involved in just creating pilot programs where they're encouraging more women to join the industry. So that's really great to see as part of the industry right now.
Okay. Yeah, it is exciting actually what's going on out there. You sort of see the women in Ghana with zipline, and then the ladies in Tanzania. It's just incredible what's being achieved, and really positive to see this sort of inclusivity. I think one of the other things is, I mean, you've just sort of described what's going on now. What do you see sort of like the opportunities, a kind of sort of future? What sort of further roles do you think women have to play in this industry?
I think women have a role maybe in creating women-led businesses, because I feel like, especially with what has been happening this year, there's many economic abilities of women that have been affected. So with this industry, there's a lot of opportunity where women can create their own businesses, create their own opportunities, and become decision makers, become experts in this industry. So I definitely see that opportunity being needed to be tapped into, and I see women being empowered to tap into that part of the industry.
Okay. That being said, in terms of opportunities, did you yourself encounter any challenges, or do you see challenges that are being faced by other women in terms of getting into this industry?
I think for myself, I'm still, fairly new into getting to know everything. So I've been lucky, in fact, because I've actually haven't faced any challenges. In fact, I felt very embraced by people and supported by people in the industry, where I'm free to gain knowledge and advice, and people are very open to sharing. And as you were saying earlier, how everybody is just passionate and excited to be in this industry. So it's very nice to always feel like, as much as even when you do face challenges, you will have people that will advise you and share their knowledge with you on best practices and things like that. So that's been really great too.
Okay. Well, no, that's good. That's good to hear. And I mean, that's what I would like to see through the Women and Drones Africa as well, that provide a
Yeah,
network of support and yeah, be able to help people get over those challenges in some
those
shape or
challenges.
form. Yeah. Um, what you know about women in the drone industry in Africa as a whole. What do you think about the drone scene at the moment? Is there anything that stands out for you?
Um, I think for me right now, I feel like the drone scene is, it's still in its infancy and it's largely untapped. So I feel like as much as even in different parts of Africa, there's, the regulations haven't really developed to the extent. So I do see an opportunity for the growth. It's already expanding, but there's great opportunity for the growth, even for the future of how drones are going to be used, especially for solving local community challenges in terms of safety, improving crime, improving even with the whole vaccine thing that's going to be coming now. There's an opportunity for those marginalized communities that are isolated for to get drones there into those regions.
No, well, that's a good point. I mean, we've seen tremendous work being done by Zipline,
Yes.
in covering virtually the whole of Rwanda with their
Yeah.
service. I mean, it's just an awesome achievement, and to see that sort of thing repeated would be fantastic
It
in
really
various
would be.
countries. Mm. No, I mean, from my side, it's going to be a pun, but there's just such a buzz, from it. That just seems to be what's come, that this is growing now, and it's starting to generate interest. And it's just seems to be the right time that now people are gaining a degree of confidence in terms of what this industry is and what it can provide, even though we're still exploring what it can provide. I
Yeah.
just think it's an exciting time.
And Africa is a
Um,
great place for us because, as we have so many challenges in Africa that need to be solved on a local level. And it's just fertile soil for new technology, new ideas, innovation. So it's really going to be great to see how it develops over the years.
Absolutely. I mean, I check out that African Drone Forum, which used to be the Lake Victoria Challenge, and
Okay.
I mean, the remoteness of communities across a lot of Africa provides just a perfect opportunity to find ways to shorten those distances and shorten
Yes.
delivery times or collection times. And as you say, this is there are challenges here, and I think drones offer an opportunity to address some of those challenges, or at least make it a bit easier to communicate, deliver, collect, gather information, you name it. I think there's enormous benefit here from the use of drones. So
Yeah.
yeah, um, I think what advice would you offer someone who was looking at this industry and sort of going, I'm not really sure. What would you say to someone who came to you and said, "What should I do?"
Definitely tell them to consider this as a career opportunity. There's so much to learn and so much that you can do in the industry, especially using what you already have as a passion. The drone industry has photography, it has tourism, it has conservation, it has security, it has safety. So there's so many aspects in the industry that you can get into and you could use to benefit whatever you're already passionate about. So I would just tell them to definitely get their hands into the industry. Be willing to learn and seek information. There's lots of information available online, and there's lots of people in the networks that you can join to learn more about the industry. And even just getting your remote pilot's license, they must get the information because as sometimes when you look at things from afar, you could assume, oh, this is so expensive. But once you do your research, you realize, okay, maybe this is affordable. Maybe I can save up towards this. Maybe I can do this with this. Once I have the license, this is what I can do with it. So just start doing something and get yourself involved in the industry, because it's definitely going to be a growing industry.
Excellent. No, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. I think that, just going off script, just to go back to your RPL, how did you find it? Did you enjoy doing your RPL?
I really did. I really enjoyed learning everything. And the interesting thing is, when I was going through it, it's just, you realize how most of this information is not even available online. Like, I remember even just looking at some of the different sizes of drones that you could fly as a hobbyist and what you can fly as an actual licensed pilot. Like, you could just think you can go to the store and buy a drone and fly it. But when you look at the regulations of what you can and can't do, it's so interesting to learn, and it's definitely something to invest your time in knowing for yourself and for the safety of people when you're actually flying the drones. So yeah.
And how did you get on with the flying? Did you enjoy that part?
The flying actually starts very tricky. Like, I was that person who I went and asked people for advice as well before I started flying. So I was asking people already pilots, like, how is it? Am I gonna, find it easy? Sometimes my coordination is a bit of a mess. And they were just like, don't worry, like, you will, as you fly more, you'll get into it, and your hands will just start moving on their own. And I started also realizing, the more you fly and the more experience you get, it just becomes so easy and straightforward. And you can also align yourself better with the drone. So it definitely starts about tricky at first, but you definitely get the hang of it.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, that's often something that someone will say to me, especially girls. Oh no, I'm not technical. And you kind of think, well, yeah, but and you need to get past that. It's not, you don't have to be a complete techie, if I can say that, to be involved in drones. It is more straightforward than you think. And yes, it takes practice, like everything. Can you remember when you first drove a car and you sort of kangaroo jumped down the road? Now you wouldn't think of it.
Now you don't even have to think about it. I remember also when I was actually doing the assessment before, like, something that made me worried was everybody was just like, boys always get this much quicker, and because they also play video games, they handle the remote better. So I was thinking, oh goodness, oh wow, I'm obviously not going to be able to do this. I don't play video games. I've just never, had a remote control to do anything besides the TV. So I'm definitely going to be bad at this. But with everything, as you were saying, with practice and just doing it more, it just started making sense.
Yeah. And do you know how many times I've heard someone say that women are actually better pilots? Because they work harder at it and they don't feel the need to ping backwards and forwards, or something to that, to fly as fast as possible. They're careful.
Yes, we're very cautious. Like, I know that was
Yeah.
always something that they say is commendable, that we you can tell that our flying style is never dangerous at any point. So I was like, oh, this is why we always need more women in industries, because if you fear it, you don't see your potential and what you could do and how the industry could benefit with more women in the industry.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Well, cool. Thank you very much. What if somebody wanted to get hold of you? They're interested in what you had to say, want to chat to you, maybe want some mentoring or some help with it, something. How can they get hold of you? Would LinkedIn be an option?
Yeah, definitely LinkedIn. You can search me, Zethu Gumede. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm also there. And yeah, when we open with GFPA as well, you can search the GFPA website and get some info from there as well, and we'll be willing to assist.
What's the GFPA?
So GFPA is Go Fly Program Africa. It's a non-profit organization that exposes women to careers in aerospace, and yeah, so that's what the organization does.
Excellent. Okay. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. Have you got anything else you want to add before we finish?
No, nothing else. Nothing else. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you, Zethu. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that chat with Zethu. There will be some more to follow. But in the meantime, keep well and always fly safe. Cheers.